Christine, thanks for being here. Obviously, it's so fun getting to know you for the past few days. Tell us a little bit about your role, your career, kind of in media, stuff like that.
Awesome. Thanks, Christian. And let me know if anybody has trouble hearing me. I'm excited to be here today to chat with Christian and share some insights with all of you. So as Christian had said, I'm the Director of Media at the Home Depot. I've been there about 2 years now, and prior to joining Home Depot, had always been in media, but previously on the agency side. Most recently had a 5-year stint at Dentsu. At the Home Depot, I oversee our media planning and strategy teams. So that comprises of a few different teams. One of those is doing the strategy planning and activation for all of our brand campaigns. We're delving more into richer and deeper storytelling to really share the brand story. I also lead our events team, so that's where we're heavying up, kind of on a pulse-by-pulse basis during key seasonal timeframes throughout the year. And then I also oversee our capabilities teams, so that's where we're building campaigns and strategies to maximize awareness of our capabilities such as delivery, in-store pickup, the lockers we have in stores, app functionalities, etc. And then lastly, I oversee what we call our audience teams. So these are teams comprised with a focus on our first-party data. So based on what we know about our customers, how they're interacting with us, how they're interacting with our site, we know that they're in the market for a specific product, have not purchased, we want to re-engage with them, or we know that they're in the midst of a bath remodel or a kitchen remodel, and making sure that we're driving personalization by engaging with audiences using that robust and, of course, anonymized first-party data.
Awesome. Sounds like a lot. So before I guess we get into kind of the meat and potatoes of everything, I figure rapid-fire Q&A, get to know Christine Reed a little bit here. So bear with me, but favorite karaoke song?
I try to avoid karaoke at all costs. I have not done it in years and years and years. But if I had to, I love a good one-hit wonder. So I think I'd go with one from the 90s. New Radicals, You Get What You Give.
Fantastic. Love it. Last meal on earth?
Definitely Waffle House. Waffle covered in syrup, hash browns covered in cheese. Nothing better on it.
Covered. Only covered.
Smothered.
Okay. Smothered. See, that's what I was saying. Okay. Mountain vacation or beach vacation?
Definitely mountains over beach. I am not very athletic, but I am actually a pretty good skier, so would go on a ski vacation over a beach vacation anytime.
It was funny, we were speaking earlier, and I asked Christine what her favorite mountain was, and you said?
Alta, because they don't allow snowboarders.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I love snowboarding. Nice to meet you. We got through it. Early morning person or night owl?
I am a night owl. It's a habit I've been trying to break for years. I would rather be a morning person, but I'm almost never in bed before 12:30.
Nice. I'm in bed at 8:30, so a little different. Dinner with one famous celebrity, who would it be?
When I was a kid, I wanted to be an astronaut, so I'd have to go with Buzz Aldrin.
Great answer. Now to the Home Depot things. Last home improvement project, and this could just be reorganizing your pantry or adding a second story to your house. What was it?
So we actually just finished a small remodel. We ripped out our deck and our screened-in porch, completely redid the area just to make it more livable. I have a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old, and just wanted to redo the area, make it safer for them, better play area for them. So it was a multi-week project, not a multi-month one, but it was great. We love that space now.
Awesome. And so what's next? What's the next project?
It's daunting. I don't really want to tackle it, but during COVID, we quickly converted a room in the house to the kids' playroom. It's a disaster. It's like a tornado of toys go through it every day, so I've got to figure out a better way to organize it.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, sounds good. So getting into it now, I guess to kick it off, I know that this is just leap into the future of data insights, emotional branding, stuff like that. So blanket question, right now at the Home Depot, what are y'all talking about that you know, something you want to do in the next 5 years? Or what are the hot topics right now just in the meetings and in the halls as we're walking through?
Yep. So there's 2 things I'll touch on here. The first one won't come as a surprise to anyone in this room, and that's just the evolution of our measurement strategy. So making sure that we have the right tools in place to ensure that we're able to effectively measure media, attribute it correctly, so that we're able to use that for channel planning and in-flight optimization. We have models for MMM and MTA. Questionable the evolution of MTA with cookies going away later this year. Google says that is definitely happening. So there will be impact there. So making sure that we stay at the forefront so that we can continue to prove out the value of marketing to our leadership and continue to make the best campaign channel planning decisions and then optimizations. And then the other theme that I'll touch on is very top of mind for myself and many others in the Home Depot right now is leaning into younger audiences. So Gen Z, younger millennials, who we would consider the next generation of homeowners. So they might be renters right now or aren't even thinking about the purchase of their first home yet. But we want to be engaging with them, building a relationship with them so that when they are in the market for their first home, their next move, their first renovation, we're the home improvement retailer of choice that they're thinking of.
Absolutely.
I think as part of that too, we have to evolve and have been evolving our channel mix with how we go to market to make sure we're showing up in the places where these younger customers are.
Yeah, awesome. And so with those younger audiences, can you talk a little bit more about how you view the distribution of the brand content?
Yep. So we, still believe that linear is an important part of the ecosystem. We're definitely a participant in the upfront, already planning for the next one. We also, as we kind of think about how we're going to market, lean heavily into live sports. We, of course, have the 20-plus year partnership with ESPN around College Game Day. So obviously buy a lot of college football and then delve into other areas within live sports as well, as that's an area that has not really seen a decline in ratings. As we think about the younger customers and the cord cutters, the cord nevers, making sure that we're showing up where they are. So on the streaming platforms, on digital video. I think when we're buying digital, both video and audio, we're thinking about, and each year we kind of evaluate what we'll do direct versus what we'll do programmatically. I think that, we, at least with Home Depot, speaking for that brand, we've seen with programmatic, we can get lower CPMs. We have better control over maximizing reach and ensuring that we're not over-frequencying the same customer, but it's about finding that right balance between reaching the right customers and whether that's through direct or programmatic. The last thing I'll touch on there is when we're thinking about which partners we're going to work with, it's about balancing scale and targetability. So we want to obviously work with partners that have large scale so that we can engage with the vast majority of the population and the customers that are a current customer or potential to become a future customer, but also work with partners that can absorb our first party data. So I mentioned the audiences teams that I oversee. So we want to obviously, just as a basic example, give a DIYer who's on a streaming device a different video than a pro trade, a plumber or an electrician. And so ensuring that we can work with partners that can also utilize our first party data at scale to ensure that we're reaching the right person, right time, right place, right message.
Awesome. And actually I have some follow-up questions for that. With the live TV, live sports, I watch a ton of sports, y'all are all around that. Does this mean that you're kind of like phasing out of non-live TV stuff and just going to do the live, or
not necessarily? We did increase with flat budgets. We did increase kind of the percent that is going to sports. So it does mean we are coming out of other areas, but it doesn't mean we still don't buy primetime, HGTV, a wide variety of cable networks.
Absolutely. And then another one, direct versus programmatic. You said programmatic, you're getting more efficiencies.
Yep.
Does that mean you're shifting out of direct?
Not necessarily either. Some of that has to do, in some cases, with which partners can absorb our first-party data, and whether that can be done programmatically or needs to be done direct. So it's about balancing, yes, the efficiencies there, also just kind of with the tech that's in place and how we can best work, where the pipes are connected, et cetera.
Awesome. And then you finished and you said right place, right time, right message, right mindset.
Yep.
Obviously, put all this together, it sounds like the holy grail. That's what we're all looking for. Is one of those easier to get? Do you need all of them? Is one more important than the other? Is there a ranking of them? I guess walk me through that a bit.
I really do think they're all equally important. So probably not the best answer, but I think they're all equally important. So I can give an example of how we're doing that at the Home Depot. So one of the biggest factors that complicates spring timeframe for us, and when I'm planning the spring campaigns, is a factor we can't control, which is the weather. And so we started to lean more into regionality and weather trigger targeting as a result of that. So for example, on March 20th of last year, that was the first day of spring, the weather in parts of Florida was over 80 degrees. That same day in Chicago, it was 50 degrees. So we need to be engaging with those customers in a very different way, because they're going to be in a very different mindset with which projects they're going to tackle and when they start them, and what products they're going to be buying at the Home Depot. So we've significantly increased our presence with regionalized and weather triggered. There's a couple different ways that we're doing it. In some cases, partners will have the technology in place where they can do it dynamically. So for example, in Atlanta, it'll say, you know, hey Atlanta, or in Atlanta, it's 75 degrees today, and then pull in personalized products that we've curated based on that. And then in Chicago, if it's 35 degrees, noting the temperature, the area, so it feels personalized, and then pulling in a different set of products. In other cases where the dynamic capabilities with a partner don't exist, we'll build out just a bunch of distinct assets, 30 different versions, so to speak, based on temperature, based on sunny versus rainy, traffic them all in, and then use rules-based logic to then update based on the geolocation of the individual. So it's been a really successful tactic for us.
That's great. And so basically, I'm going to be in Tampa, Florida tomorrow when I fly back. It's going to be 80 degrees. I'm going to get one of those ads. Is there something that you're testing into? What kind of content are y'all talking about right now, in addition to kind of the dynamic weather triggers and stuff like that around the country?
So weather triggered is kind of shoppable content, sure.
Oh, in addition to the weather triggers.
Oh, in addition, okay. Yes, so another area where with younger customers, with the personalization, an area we're really leaning into and have been testing in 2023 and will continue to test into in 2024 is with shoppable content. So there's a few different ways that we are doing this. With some streaming platforms, the capability exists to where a shoppable icon will come up and you can actually engage with the ad and engage with our brand using your remote. I think adoption of that will pick up over time. We're, of course, also testing into QR codes within video units, where a customer can use their mobile device, scan the QR code of something in the ad intrigues them, and then use that to either be redirected to the pre-identified landing page on our website or deep linked into the app. Another way that was really exciting in Q4 where we tested into Shoppable was our first branded content series using Shoppable. So this was a partnership with different families during the holiday season where we worked with them to decorate their homes, in some cases indoor, in some cases outdoor, showcase a variety of products that was then turned into a multi-series content series. And throughout each of the units, the products on the screen would also have the QR code that was reflected, multiple versions of that throughout based on the products on the screen. And so really interesting engagement there. It's an area we're testing into so far. As we've been testing into it, we have been, for the most part, beating benchmarks, but it's definitely an area of test and learn for us.
Awesome. And then with the shoppable units, where do those fall in your marketing funnel?
So typically with video and branded content, you would consider that falling, of course, mid to upper funnel. But I think when you add a shoppable component to it, you're really flattening the funnel because you're providing the customer with an immediate way to transact with your brand. I will say though, from a measurement perspective, we track both upper and lower funnel. So we will, when we're able to, tack on a brand lift study. We have been able to measure lifts in brand perception, and also that there's not a negative customer experience, and that having this additional code on there is not complicating the customer's purchase journey. And then we will also, like I had mentioned, track the engagement rates when we're able to, conversion rates. We'd like to get to a place where we're able to track incremental store visits from these units eventually.
Awesome. Yeah, I was going to ask about, what attribution, what the success actually looks like. And I'll kick it off with, you mentioned QR codes. Are they working? What's the deal with those?
They are. We're seeing good engagement with them. I think customers are less comfortable yet using their remote to engage, but using your phone to actually engage with our brand, we have seen better, honestly, engagement than I thought. I think that some of that is just customers are getting more and more comfortable with re-adopting those. They were big, 10 years ago, and then they kind of went away, and now they're back. But a lot, you've probably all seen, during COVID, a lot of restaurants changed their menus or how you pay to QR codes. And so just as they're showing up in different ways, customers are getting used to interacting with ads in that way too.
Awesome. Yeah, my 86-year-old dad knows how to use a QR code now, which is a gigantic win. All right, so future. Give me a wild prediction of something that'll be commonplace in 10, 15 years, 20 years that we might not even be thinking about right now.
Okay, so definitely not in the next, this is much closer term, but just is, we kind of have a hypothesis that TV is going to be the next shoppable medium. And so as consumers get comfortable with that, transacting that way, all of the tech is in place. It's not right now to have a fully seamless customer journey, but I think purchasing more on the big screen. Everybody's using laptops now. People, primarily use mobile devices. How does that, the pendulum swing towards TV, and when is that? I also think something that we've tested into, but want to continue to over the next 5, 10 plus years is just metaverse. What's going to happen with that? What are the ad-supported opportunities within there? And is that really paying out and driving engagement? We did do a test last year with a gaming partner where we built a virtual Home Depot within the gaming platform for customers and younger audiences to interact with. It was based on our kids' workshop, so the first Saturday of every month at Home Depot we have, I see head nods, opportunities for families to go do a DIY project, and then the kids can take home the birdhouse or the gingerbread house, or this month was a Valentine's box. But anyway, the metaverse opportunity provided a virtual option for kids to build toys within the metaverse. So that was really interesting. And then another one that we're keeping an eye on but have not tested into, it'll be interesting to see what adoption here is 5, 10 plus years, is virtual reality. Right now, those devices are pretty expensive. Apple just came out with one that I think is $30,000, $3,500. I personally have used one of the devices, or got a demo on one, not the Apple one, I haven't used that one, and felt seasick after it. So just understanding kind of what adoption is, does the technology get better, and then of course, what are the brand supported opportunities, and is that helping to move the needle, especially as we're thinking about Gen Z and younger millennials and that next generation of homeowners. And if that's where they are, then that's where we would need to be as well.
Awesome. And then a couple more questions, and we'll get to Q&A. What is your favorite campaign so far that you've been a part of at the Home Depot?
Yes. So one thing that has been a shift for us over the last couple of years is really leaning more into that brand storytelling. So delving into kind of those more emotional stories that are unique to us. So there are 2 campaigns we did last year that were really interesting. It was the first time we've done them. One was around Mother's Day. It was our first time doing a Mother's Day campaign, and it was celebrating female doers, female DIYers, and females in the pro trades. That was really interesting. Saw really nice lift in purchase intent. We also did a social extension with one of the larger platforms out there where we asked female doers to submit them, submit videos of them doing projects with, products that sourced at the Home Depot, and got a huge volume of submissions, a ton of engagement with that campaign, and just, has some really inspirational stories that were shared back. The other one that was unique to us was our holiday campaign this year. It was actually kids workshop related, and so it was just kind of showcasing the joy that the kids workshop brings to families, and having that focus during the holiday season. So that one also saw really nice lift in mid and upper funnel metrics, really nice response from our customers. But the other benefit of it is that at kids workshops since then, we have had lines out the door. So there's been a benefit of it actually also driving in-store traffic.
Love that. That's great. And last question before Q&A. Best advice you've ever been given?
So something that I heard early on in my career and really do try to live by is never give a dirty yes. So meaning by that, don't say yes to something if you know you're going to deprioritize it, or you know, I don't really want to do that, or I don't think this is a priority. So never give a dirty yes. It's much better to give a clean no with rationale for why.
Great. Awesome. And then I guess for Q&A, does anyone have any questions? Raise your hand. I can
speak.
Holler.
So
all right.
Scott Fernsler, I'm the one that gave the stats about Delta, my other favorite brand analysis, Home Depot. So June 22nd, 1979, I was graduating from high school in Tucker, Georgia, and this really cool store on Memorial Drive opened up.
Yep.
Called Home Depot. The first store, and then the second one was in Beaufort. And I remember going in there, and so then there wasn't a lot of customers, so you got to know your customers well. So thank you for what a great history. But my question is, now with third-party cookie deprecation happening, talking about the importance of programmatic media and talking to your customers, do you guys feel like you've got a good strategy in place, some do, some don't, around third-party cookie deprecation? Because nowadays, all of a sudden on the open web, you can't talk to people on iPhones anymore, which is people that spend the most money. Do you feel like you have a good strategy around that?
I think we're a little bit, probably gonna knock on wood. I think we're a little bit better positioned than some brands because of all of the robust and rich first-party data we have. We have a huge database of that. We're one of the most trafficked sites in the US. And we have an entire data science team that's focused on understanding signals, building those out, and then they activate. There are some questions, because we're pushing those through a third party to then get to the partners. There is some questions on if some partners are doing a cookie match, they're not matching based on a unique identifier that we don't fully understand the impact of yet, but have been having all of those conversations, are meeting very closely with our agency, meeting closely with our analytics team, our data science team on what the actual risk factor could be.
Okay, that was a perfect answer.
Awesome.
My name is Neely Lynch. I'm with Georgia Pacific. So you talked about Gen Z and looking at them as they come onto the market. And we know, obviously, they're spending a lot more of their media consumption on their phone. But you're also talking about your partnership on linear, ESPN, Game Day. How are you guys thinking about reconciling your growth target versus your current consumers when you're looking at your overall media mix planning?
So I interned at Georgia Pacific when I was in college for 2 years. So yes, analytics for toilet paper, paper towels, and napkins. So then I moved to marketing. So our mix is evolving every year and going more towards digital every year as consumption habits evolve. With flat or close to flat budgets, we have to optimize each year where we know the customer's going and follow them. We are able to, with MMM as well, and as best we're able to attribute it, see the value of linear versus digital video, same with terrestrial radio versus streaming audio, and see strong payback across the board still. We're not really seeing negative impact from linear there, but or results where digital video is so much higher than linear video. But just with how we need to follow the customer, we're still evolving the mix to go more linear. To go more digital.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Christine. Appreciate it.